Do you want to understand what people are thinking without them saying a word? Imagine walking into a room and instantly knowing what's on everyone's mind. In this video, we'll explore the ancient wisdom of Miyamoto Musashi to unlock the secrets of becoming a true mind reader. Step 1. Observe body language. Body language is a powerful tool for communication, often revealing more than words can. Miyamoto Musashi, a renowned fighter, believed in the power of body language to reveal thoughts and feelings before they even say a word. He observed his opponent's poses, stances, and facial expressions, which are crucial in real life. The body shows what is going on in the mind, and people may try to hide their feelings with words. Stance is one of the first things to consider when understanding body language. A person standing straight up with their shoulders back and arms not crossed usually feels at ease and confident. Conversely, someone who avoids eye contact, crosses their arms, or hunches their shoulders may be protective, scared, or threatened. The face, with its complex muscles, can show various feelings. For example, a Duchenne smile involves both the mouth and eyes, while a still mouth could indicate a fake smile. Musashi would have been aware of these details in the faces of everyone around him, whether friends or foes. Gestures are also important in body language. People often do small, repeated moves when they are worried or uncomfortable, such as rubbing their fingers or playing with things. On the other hand, those who make big, open movements are generally more at ease and in charge. Eye contact is another important part of body language. Eyes are often considered the windows to the soul because they can show interest and trust. A long-lasting eye contact indicates interest and trust, while avoiding it could indicate discomfort, guilt, or not telling the truth. Musashi's lessons on body language emphasize that seeing the secret is just as important as knowing what is clear. Improving your ability to read and notice body language can help you communicate more deeply with others, guessing and understanding their thoughts and plans better than ever. Step 2. Develop empathy. Empathy is a crucial skill for understanding others, as it allows you to connect emotionally and guess their thoughts and feelings. Miyamoto Musashi, a famous warrior, believed that understanding your opponent's feelings and thoughts is essential for predicting their actions. To develop empathy, one must be present and give the other person your full attention, focusing on small emotional cues like tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language. To put yourself in someone else's shoes, it is essential to recognize their feelings and understand the events and points of view that shape those feelings. Musashi believed that everyone has a unique path in life, and understanding their actions and thoughts is easier when you look at their past, beliefs, and situations. Emotional intelligence is another important aspect of empathy. Learning to control your own feelings while interacting with others allows you to connect with them without letting their feelings take over. Strong empathy allows you to feel and understand someone else's strong feelings without affecting your own judgment. This mental control allows you to back, comfort, or guide someone while keeping your mind clear. Musashi taught us that empathy is not just about getting to know other people, it is also about finding balance in our own lives. By learning empathy, we can tell the difference between how we feel and how other people feel, allowing us to see things clearly enough to understand someone else's point of view without imposing our biases on them. Empathy also makes it easier to talk to others, as being aware of how someone feels allows you to change the way you talk and act to connect more deeply with them. This makes the time spent with them more important and helps you get to know them better, which in turn helps you understand what they are thinking and feeling. To become a mind reader, one needs to learn to understand how other people feel. This skill allows you to connect emotionally with others, guess their thoughts and feelings, and communicate in a way that builds trust and understanding. By doing these things, you can develop empathy and learn more about how other people think, which will not only help in personal relationships, but also handle tricky social settings with ease and intelligence. Step 3. Cold reading. Cold reading is a powerful skill that allows individuals to make intelligent guesses based on small pieces of information, such as how someone looks, acts, and little things they say unknowingly. Miyamoto Musashi used a method similar to cold reading during a fight, where he would quickly look at his enemy's stance, weapon, and attitude to guess what they would do next. Cold reading involves reading between the lines, putting together pieces of proof that other people might miss. Paying attention to what someone wears, stands, and speaks can show a lot about them, such as their business or image, comfort, confidence, worry, or lying. Cold readers use their ability to observe to figure out things about the person they are talking to. When starting a cold reading, people often say Barnum statements, general statements, that most people will understand but still feel unique. These statements make people feel connected and encourage them to share more, which helps improve their reading based on how they respond. When cold reading, asking open-ended questions and paying close attention to how they answer can give away more information than they realize. Musashi believed that both watching and listening are important because words, tone, and body language can tell you a lot about who they are. Cold reading is not meant to be used to trick people, but it is about figuring out how people act and quickly judging them based on what you see. Being able to tell what was going on in an opponent's mind before a fight was a form of cold reading in its own right. You can use cold reading to learn more about people around you in your daily life, whether in a personal relationship, at work, or just having a relaxed chat. By practicing cold reading and following your gut, you can become deadly in any situation. Step 4. Psychological profiling. Psychological profiling is a strong way to figure out why people do the things they do and how they feel about them. When used correctly, it can make you feel like you can see into someone else's mind and guess what they'll do or say before they even say it. Miyamoto Musashi was very good at reading the thoughts of his opponents. He knew that beating an opponent wasn't just about being stronger, but also about being smarter than them by knowing what drove them, their fears, and their flaws. He thought that if you really looked into someone, you could guess what they would do next. This is what psychological analysis is all about. To put it simply, psychological profiling is the process of carefully watching and analyzing someone's actions, responses, and habits over time. It's about getting a full picture of who they are from the way they act over and over again. In his famous duels, Musashi used this idea by often researching his opponent's past fights, tactics, and way of thinking about battle. When you're interacting with other people, watching how they act in different settings can tell you a lot about their personality and way of thinking. If you want to make a profile of someone, start by watching how they handle stress. Stress often shows what kind of person someone is. Some people get defensive, others get angry, and still others may shut down or try to avoid the situation altogether. Stress is a key factor that shows an opponent's weak spots, which Musashi knew. In everyday life, these reactions can help you figure out how emotionally strong, flexible, and good at making decisions someone is. For example, someone who gets scared quickly might have trouble with difficult problems, while someone who stays cool is probably better at thinking in a logical and planned way. Knowing someone's ideals and reasons is another important part of psychological analysis. Musashi thought that a fighter should know both his own and his opponent's goals. What makes someone do something? What do they put first? Some people want success and praise, while others want safety or keeping close ties. You can guess how someone will act in different situations if you know what their main motivations are. For instance, someone who wants to be successful might take chances or do whatever it takes to move up in their job, while someone who values relationships might avoid disagreement or make concessions to keep the peace. Musashi also taught that you need to know how your own mind works in order to read other people's minds well. To make a good picture of someone, you need to be aware of your own opinions, biases, and feelings. When you know yourself well enough, you can let go of your own assumptions and only pay attention to the other person's habits and behaviors. Musashi was able to stay ahead of his opponents in fight because he could think clearly. Similarly, your ability to stay objective will help you become better at psychological analysis. An important part of analysis is figuring out how someone's past affects how they act now. Emotional baggage, like past hurts or successes, often shapes how people act in the world. Musashi was known for looking into not only what his opponents were doing at the moment, but also what they had done in the past. He knew that knowing where they came from would help him figure out where they were going. Seeing not only what people do, but also why they do it is what this means in everyday life. Were they too careful because of past mistakes? Did a bad split make them wary of relationships? Profiling lets you see how a person's past actions are related to how they act now, which helps you guess what they will do. Psychological analysis is more than just looking at other people from afar. It means interacting with them, asking the right questions, and paying close attention to what they say. Musashi would often use talk to get inside his opponents' heads and learn important things about their emotional state. Additionally, if you pick your words carefully and watch how someone reacts, you can learn important but minor things about their inner life. What they say, how they say it, and how they move can tell you a lot more than what they say. As you get better at psychological analysis, you'll start to almost automatically notice trends in the way people act. Musashi was very good at strategy, so he could guess his opponent's every move. Similarly, your knowledge of human psychology will make it seem like you can read minds. This is not magic, but the result of careful observation, analysis, and understanding of the human situation. Step 5. Showmanship. People don't give showmanship enough credit, but it's an important part of the art of reading minds. It was known to Miyamoto Musashi that you could change people's minds, so he often used strategies that made his opponents doubt themselves or even feel beaten before the fight even started. If you want to become a mind reader, acting is about making a strong impression on people, changing how they see you, and making them believe that you really know what they're thinking and feeling. Through this show, you can learn more about how they think. How you act around other people is what acting is all about. People will think you know what they're thinking if you have a well-thought-out character that gives off confidence, intelligence, and calm. With his cool demeanor and smart thought, Musashi learned how to give himself a psychological edge. He was famous for being late to a fight on purpose to annoy his opponent and make them lose their cool. If you have power over how other people see you, they may start to show more of themselves without even realizing it. As part of entertainment, body language and other forms of unconscious expression are used. You can change how people connect with you by how you walk, stand, and make facial movements. People will be more likely to trust your ideas and believe in your ability to understand them if you seem calm and sure of yourself. During fight, Musashi often stayed calm, giving the idea that he had already won. When you're with other people, being calm and sure of yourself can make them feel more comfortable sharing their thoughts, which can help you read them more accurately. Being able to interest people through words and stories is also an important part of performance. Musashi was not only good with swords, but also a wise man who used stories and metaphors to teach important lessons. He knew that words had power to guide and affect other people. Imagistic language, stories, and images should be used when you talk to people. This not only gets their attention, but it also makes them feel something. When someone is deeply involved, they are more likely to open up, which lets you know more about what they are thinking and feeling. But performance isn't about tricking people. It's about making them feel like they understand and are linked to you. It's about building trust and a connection through your actions, words, and appearance. Musashi's idea of self-mastery is very important to this story. He thought that you had to master yourself first before you could have an effect on other people. Focusing on staying cool and in control of your feelings can help you give off an air of confidence that makes people feel like you know what they're going through. Another important part of acting is being able to ask the right questions at the right times. And it wasn't just in fight that Musashi was known for being precise. You can make someone feel like you naturally understand what they're thinking by asking questions that seem deep or wise. If you ask them questions that are related to their worries, wants, or goals, they will probably tell you more than they meant to, which will help you understand their mind better. That's why performance is about balance. To make people think you know more than what is being said, you need to carefully balance confidence, calmness, and interest. Musashi's lessons stress how important it is to understand things, both in fight and in everyday life. Impressing people with your acting skills makes them feel seen, heard, and understood, which then makes it easy for you to read their thoughts. Step 6. Active listening. Active hearing is not an inactive thing to do. It's something you have to do on purpose and with full attention. Miyamoto Musashi taught that being focused and present is important in all situations, but it's especially important when listening. To really understand what someone is saying, you have to be fully involved in the talk, without any outside thoughts or distractions. When you actively listen, you try to understand what is really being said, not just the visible words. It's important to give the speaker your full attention when you're actively listening. It's easy to get sidetracked by technology or our own thoughts in this busy world, but Musashi's theory says that power comes from being able to control the mind. He paid close attention to his opponent in battle, and you should do the same with the person you're talking to. Don't want to talk over someone or plan what you're going to say next. Let the person speaking say everything they want to say, and pay attention to every word they say. When you listen actively, your body language is also important. You can show that you are interested and giving attention by nodding, making eye contact, and moving forward a little. Musashi knew how important it was to use small movements to communicate. These can help someone feel heard and understood, which can make them open up even more. By showing care and respect, you make it easier for the other person to say what's really on their mind, which helps you understand it better. Think about what the person said. This is an important part of active listening. To do this, you need to rephrase or summarize their points, and then repeat them back to the speaker to make sure you understand. You could say something like, "So, what I'm hearing is that you're frustrated with the situation because you can't change the outcome." This shows that you are not only hearing, but also thinking about what is being said. Musashi felt that clarity was important in both thought and speech. Thinking about what you hear can help you have better, more meaningful talks. Another way to improve active listening is to ask thoughtful, open-ended questions. When you ask someone, "How did that make you feel?" or "Can you tell me more about that?" they are more likely to share more of their thoughts and feelings. At this point, the ability to read minds comes into play. When you push the other person to go deeper, you can find deeper layers of their feelings and thoughts that they might not have said at first. Musashi told his students that the best way to find out what an opponent's real strength or weakness was to dig deeper. You can get to the truth below the top of a talk by using this method. Getting people to trust you is one of the best things about active listening. People are more likely to share their thoughts easily when they feel like they are being heard. Trust is the key to a good relationship, and Musashi knew that without it, no partnership can grow, whether in fight or in real life. Active listening helps you connect with others more deeply, which makes it easier to figure out what they're thinking and what they'll do next. That's why it's important to practice being quiet while you listen actively. People can feel awkward when there is silence during a talk, but that's when people often say the most about themselves. Musashi taught that being quiet is very useful in life and in battle. It gives you and the other person time to think about what was said, so you can both understand it better. If you fight the urge to fill the silence, you give the other person a chance to talk, and they'll often say more than they meant to. Ultimately, active listening is a strong way to better understand other people. You can learn a lot about someone's thoughts and feelings by paying close attention to what they say, thinking about what they said, asking thoughtful questions, and being okay with being quiet. Musashi taught us that to be a master, you need to focus, be disciplined, and be patient. These are all important parts of active listening. Over time, this practice will help you read minds and really know what other people are thinking and feeling, which will make your relationships and interactions better overall.